AI is not all powerful. I know, wait, did I just say that out loud? Yeah, you heard me right. AI can't do everything. And before any of you cast me as a cynic, a naysayer in this marvel of modernity, pause. This is not a rant against progress, it's a reality check. Let me tell you why this perspective is far less outrageous than it seems. If I asked you to imagine a piece of paper, how would you describe it to me? Some of you would mention its crisp whiteness. Someone might tell me about its A4 dimensions, or the obvious, its purpose in feeding a printer. And you're all correct, logically, factually, and undeniably so. Just like an AI would be. And that is precisely my problem. What you all saw as an empty page, I saw as a blank canvas. Cliche, but true. See, I'm not a person of logic. I often question so-called logical things like physics and math. My grade sheets will tell you the same thing. It's restricting. And much like the force of gravity or long division, there was only ever one way it could go, the right way. Funny thing about right and wrong, it's not all black and white. It's actually a constant shade of gray. Don't get me wrong, artificial intelligence is a wonderful thing. It cites your resources, it analyzes your data, and on a particularly dull night, it maybe even writes an email or two. It knows over 400 languages, a million Wikipedia pages, and more than 7 billion people. But it can't hold a pencil. Or a brush, for that matter. But, you know who could? The caveman. We've all seen those rudimentary sketches carved into ancient cave walls using rocks or sharp pieces of metal. Then we advanced a little. We found paper, a surface to hold our thoughts. Then came the Egyptians that etched their hieroglyphs into history, and the cult leaders that plastered the walls with their cryptic and kind of comical posters. Time flowed, art evolved. Picasso fractured reality into cubes. Van Gogh immortalized the night with his paintbrush. And somewhere along this winding path, a family full of businessmen, doctors, and policemen welcomed the first artist into their family. And that is yours truly. Art's more than a skill. It's a feeling. That jolt between the head and the heart that conjures something so visceral it gives you life. A brush, a pen, a crayon. An artist does not simply use them. It's not a clash of a tool on a canvas. It's a meeting with the world. AI can mimic shapes or imitate styles, but that single, profound moment of actual human creativity lies beyond its reach. Art is not an act. It's an escape, a sanctuary from the weight of existence, a passageway into realms where the soul breathes freely. AI cannot feel the trembling defiance of facing a blank page, the quiet exorcism of pouring fears into form, the raw beauty or the messy brilliance of turning flaws into absolute amazement. AI obeys its design, confined to patterns and logic, like any good servant. But art is where humanity transcends. Every brushstroke, every line, every curve is a beautiful reaching, an exodus from the finite into the boundless, where emotions echo louder than words. As far as we have seen, AI might even be capable of creating something that emulates a Van Gogh painting. But can it claim that it was fighting with love, insanity, or maddening sunflowers for several sleepless nights? No, it can't. That's not how a painting is created. It has a deeper and sharper meaning within. It is the unarticulated outcry of a generation, the unrestrained unison of the peoples and culture, the soft chill of one fraction of an emotional essence. That is not what an artificial intelligence machine can feel. That is not what an AI machine will ever comprehend. And that is precisely my problem. AI is too perfect to be an artist. I said it. AI follows every rule, every guideline, every step of logic, like it's solving a math problem. And we already know how I feel about math. But art? Art is chaos. Art is a storm that shreds the sky and forces you to look up in awe. It is disorder, it is savagery, and that's where its power lies. Art is beyond fathomable thoughts. AI can't imagine or feel or even think about the reckless beauty of absolutely crushing something into nothing and creating something else out of it entirely. Art doesn't just push boundaries, it burns them to the ground, scattering the ashes to create something that has never been seen before. AI can't live in the chaos because it can't make a mistake that isn't already pre-programmed. And well, the obvious. Some of you might be asking me, but Tiana, what if I prefer perfection? To that I must say, perfection is the enemy of art. And as someone whose first TED Talk was titled Perfectly Imperfect, I can't even begin to imagine why someone would prefer the cold, lifeless clarity of perfection over the raw, messy beauty of imperfection. It has no soul, no blood, no pulse. It's not alive. Art is meant to be alive. The canvas shouldn't bleed code. But what's the big deal anyway? So what if AI can create art? That's one of the responses I got when talking to a friend about this. Big deal, he said. Yeah, no, because nothing says human experience like a neural network. Tell me this, why do people auction off paintings? Why would someone be willing to spend 30 million US dollars on an original Picasso if AI can replicate it? What's the big deal anyway? AI can't be an artist. You know why? Because AI never watched its parents fight day in and day out over them. AI never lost an uncle. AI never felt the stare of that one relative who told you, I don't think you need that second serving. AI never had to contort or twist themselves to fit into a certain friend group. AI never felt alone at its own birthday party, surrounded by a group of people who were supposed to be their closest friends, but were nothing more than mere blank faces in the crowd. AI never got bullied for who they were, or how they acted, or how they dressed, or how they looked, or who they became. AI never lost a best friend. And rest assured, AI never felt any of the fury, or the agony, or the despair, or the rage, or the absolute decimation of joy when someone looked it dead in the eye and told it that the only reason it ever became an artist was because it couldn't cope with the smart subjects. You can't be an artist until you have felt the pain. And that pain cannot be felt by something whose muse is a microchip.